we went from a fireman to a police officer, and our next guest, we've got a Californian. That's a transition. Let's introduce him, Scott. Drew Bittner is our next guest.
Drew Bittner, he's a bantamweight. He fights out of Soledad, California. And Drew, why don't you give us a little bit more about you? What's your record? Give us your base style, and then we'll go from there.
Cool. I want to say thanks for having me on. My name is Drew Bittner. I'm 25 years old, from Soledad, California. I have a professional record of 3 wins, 0 losses. Basically started off wrestling as a kid and wrestled in college throughout high school and started doing jiu-jitsu, and one thing led to another, and started doing MMA.
Now, so with the wrestling, what was it about the sports and even just the competition of one-on-one combat, for lack of a better term, that kept you going?
Just the competition, one-on-one is very competitive. If you lose, you have no one to blame but yourself. You can't blame your quarterback or running back for fumbling or anything like that. And if you win, it's basically, you take all the glory, you and your coaches for putting in all that hard work. And, it feels so much better when it's just a one-on-one sport, you winning and, taking all the effort and winning on yourself.
Oh,
Drew, how long have you participated? How long have you been participating in the sport of MMA, and what drew you to the sport?
What drew me to the sport was, just the contact sport of wrestling. I like to be physical, real competitive. It's a physical sport. Wrestling was, and wrestled in college for a few years and kind of got burnt out from wrestling for so long, and started doing jiu-jitsu back where I'm originally from, in the East Bay with Cesar Gracie. I started doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu and had some great instructors there, some great fighters, and wrestlers transitioned really well to the sport of jiu-jitsu, and things started clicking and coming real fast, and started doing my stand-up and stuff like that, and started doing some smoker and amateur fights before they were legal in California, and just love it, just the competition and the adrenaline.
Now, did you get a chance to work with, the famous of the Cesar Gracie team, Jake Shields, the Diaz brothers, Gil Melendez?
I actually did. There's quite a few times I trained with Nick and Nate, Gilbert, Jake, especially Vinny Magalench, Cesar's black belt man instructor that was there, helped me out a lot, the world champ, fought in the UFC, and trained with the Rat Pack for, a couple of times and stuff like that.
The Scrap Pack. So moving on, when did you find out? I mean, what was your first experience of realizing that you were good in wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and stuff like that? What was it that told you, hey, I can really move up into an upper echelon of these sports?
You know what? I just trained for so hard and for so long that I figured that I like to be the best in everything, and I want to be the best. So I was training 2-3 times a day, 6-7 days a week with some of the best in the world. Trained for about 3 or 4 years with Cesar Gracie, and actually took about a year off. I actually went through the police academy for the correctional officers. Took about a year off of training. Started working at the prison, and found another gym called Main Street Kickboxing with Danny Kelly and some great guys, and started training there a couple of days a week, and knew I had in it that I can be the best, and one thing led to another. Had my first pro fight, went out there and dominated, and from then on I know I can be the best, so I'm thriving to be the best.
Now, is that the crew that you're with now?
Yeah, I'm actually with Main Street Kickboxing. They're located in Hollister, California. Danny Kelly is the owner. He's a world champ Muay Thai kickboxer. Larry Petramo, great striking coach. Have a great team back there, and that's where I'm at about 5-6 days a week.
Talking to Drew Bittner here on Shambhala Sports Radio. Drew, you said you did some wrestling. You said you're doing some kickboxing now. How would you think the two intermixing styles have correlated to make you a top-notch fighter?
You know what? Being such a good wrestler, I just want to dictate the fights. I work my stand-up so much. I know if I get my stand-up down that I can dictate any fight. If I want to go to the ground, I can take my opponent to the ground. If he wants to take me to the ground, he's going to have a hell of a time because wrestling, I'm going to sprawl and keep the stand if I want. I work my jiu-jitsu so much. You know, I don't have a belt in jiu-jitsu like that, but I have, great instructors. I've worked with some of the best in the world in jiu-jitsu, and my jiu-jitsu level is very underrated. And, my last fight, I actually won by submission, and, I'm just trying to be a well-rounded fighter now,
Now, you got a fight coming up in July, I believe you told me. Can you tell us where that is, and do you know who your opponent is yet?
Yeah, I'm actually fighting July 9th for Tachi Palace Fighting in Lemoore, California at the Tachi Palace Casino. Fighting a guy named Francisco Loreto, I believe his name is. He's from Kalinga, California. Seems like a tough wrestler.
That was actually going to be my next question. What do you know about him? Are you able, at this level, are you able to get a decent amount of tape on your fighters, or do you just, wing it and go in and try to do what you do?
I try to do a little research, just to see what their strengths are. I really don't worry about too much, like my last few fights, kind of my head. I just go out there thinking that they're best on all aspects of the game. So that means I have to train just as hard in all aspects of the game, because I don't know what he's going to bring, And being this early in the career, 3 months is a long time for someone to improve in, their weaknesses and stuff like that. So, like I said, being early, this early in my career, I just think of all my opponents being well-rounded and, and train, expect anything at that time.
Talking to Drew Bittner here on Shambhala Sports Radio. Drew, how would you think that your wrestling background has prepared you for the jiu-jitsu side of mixed martial arts?
You see the wrestlers, they transition really well to jiu-jitsu. It's just that one-on-one contact sport, with someone else being on top. Wrestlers have that strong base, the strength of being contact with someone. And I see wrestlers, they're taking over the sport of MMA, I believe. You see almost all the champions in every weight class and are all wrestlers or have a strong wrestling background. And I just think wrestlers are transitioning really well to the game.
What is your motivation for wanting to fight on a daily basis?
My motivation is to be the best. I train, 5-6 days a week. I work 40-plus hours a week. Also have a full-time job outside of MMA. I want to be the best, and to be the best, you got to train like the best. I got to train, 3-4 hours a day, 6 days a week, to get to that next level.
Now, Drew, before we let you go, one final question for you here. Prognosticate into the future. Where do you want your career to be 5 years from now? Where do you think you'll be in the sport?
Where I want to be on the top of the world. The sport's grown really fast, and you see a lot of these lightweights are coming around. A lot of these bigger organizations are putting these lightweights in, and I'm young. I'm only 25 years old. Hopefully everything keeps going well. I'm fighting until I'm 35 years old. In 5 years, hopefully, be the best in the world at 135 pounds. That's my goal. That's my dream. I wake up every morning, go to bed every night thinking about fighting, and I have the passion and I have the motivation to be the best.
Now, Drew, where can we reach you at from here? Where can the fans follow you after listening to this interview? Any social networking sites or websites you'd like to plug?
I don't have any websites, but most definitely Facebook, Drew Bittner. I'm on Facebook.
Drew Bittner it is. We'll be sure to check him out. And Drew, we'd like to thank you for taking time for joining us here on Shambhala Sports Radio. Certainly like to talk to you again. Feel free to don't be a stranger.
I appreciate it, Jay and Scott. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
My pleasure.
My pleasure. Appreciate it.